So, in continuation with your third unit, this lecture would cover most of the basic concepts of training and development. We will also try to look at the training part, the importance, the meaning, the concept, the need for training, as well as the development aspect. You must have heard about the employee training and management development. These two terminologies are very common terminologies which we use in industry. Corporate world is very much aware about the employee training and management development. So we will also try to look at the various differentiating factors of training and development, and then we'll also cover up the process of training and development. Then we'll also take the types of training in coming lectures. So if we look at that, what is training and what is development? So as you all must have gone through in last first semester activity sessions, we tried to upgrade some of your skills. Maybe sometime your presentation skill, maybe sometime your speaking skill, maybe sometime your decision making quotient. So all those activities were aiming to strengthen your required skills. So what exactly we need to learn, and what exactly training is? If you look at that common definition of training and development, it's very simple, that TND is a system used by any organization to improve skills and performance of the employees. This thing is very important, which covers to improve skills. So when you talk about the skill improvement, you need to have training, and before training you need to have the training gap, the need or skill gap. And once you know the skill gap, you can give training. And apart from this, performance of the employees, to improve performance of the employee, obviously if you give developmental issues, knowledge enhancement, that will result in future. So we'll cover this point of performance improvement of the employees into second part of this lecture. Apart from this, if you look at, it is also an educational tool for industry. Training and development is a tool through which the information is updated to employees so as to improve or sharpen the skills, introduce new concepts and knowledge to improve employee performance. Again, the final objective is to improve employee performance. So whatever training you are giving, whatever management development programs you are organizing, the ultimate aim is to improve the performance of the employees. Once you have updated skills, upgraded skills, then it leads to improved performance. So what is the main purpose of training and development in general is that to improve performance of employees. Why we need training and development? So when we talk about the need of training and development or need for training and development, then we look at that, you need training when you are changing or revising your objectives and goals. Say for example, we say that your examination, which is right now the mid-sem examination, is of half an hour duration. Now if the goal is changed or revised to 1 hour instead of 1.5 hours, if mid-sem exams are changed to 1 hour and the pattern is changed, then student need to have training or practice of completing your questions within 1 hour. So you need training. So when there is a need of training, when company revises its objectives or goals or practices, so then there is a need of training. You need training to improve the performance of the employees that we have already discussed. You need training and development to set up a benchmark of the performance which employees are expected to achieve in financial year. Obviously, you said, say for example, you are given training to have, convincing power, improve personality, convincing power, and you increase the sale of the company, and you set a benchmark. Say for example, if you talk about that, Kapil Dev had set a benchmark of highest wicket taking, or Sachin has some benchmark. So they had some very tough and rigorous training for that, and then they could achieve this benchmark. So when you want to set up a benchmark, higher standard, obviously you need some training into that. Training need is required to teach employee new skills. Maybe sometime team management, communication, or leadership behavior, or like so. If you have we have to teach new skills, then you need training or development. Even when we talk about team management, communication management, or leadership behavior, so moreover we talk about the management development part, not exactly training part. And to test new methods of enhancing organizational productivity, so you need to have training on that. Look at the importance of this training and development in an organization. Training and development is important when company wants optimum utilization of their manpower. Optimum utilization, try to underline this optimum. This optimum is not basically maximum. Optimum utilization simply means that when you need to look at, it is not that one day you work for 16 hours out of 24 hours and you extract maximum energy from a person, and the next day person is not able to even do work for 8 hours. Basic purpose is to optimize the manpower performance. Training and development is required for succession planning, especially development. Say for example, today there is some HR manager, and as time passes, that HR manager has to retire, someone has to take over. So you need to give training, you need to develop that person for future. So you need training and development. You need training for skill development and development for behavior development. To motivate employee and to increase their productivity, this is also important. Significant aspect to develop a team spirit in organization. That is very important, because whenever you want to develop a team, whenever you want to convert a group into a team to deliver some high standard, dedicated and targeted task, then you need to convert group into team. And when you need to convert group into team, then you need to give training and development, because you must be remembering that team building process, where you need to form team, forming, storming, and norming, then performing. So forming is the basic thing, but storming is very important. What is covered in storming is you need to be trained to tune up with the group members, alignment of your thinking and their thinking, and if there are any wrinkles, fractions, differences, those wrinkles, fraction differences has to be ironed out. So it is very important to develop a team spirit. It is important, training and development is important from safety point of view as well. Because when the process is of hazardous nature, so you cannot take risk to assign particular job without giving training. You need to be trained under some specific, under supervision. And obviously, training is important to increase profitability and enhance corporate image. This point is also a very important point, because it is not only that to improve profitability, rather enhance corporate image means if company performance is improving, then the standard of the company, the belief of people in company, and the brand image, that will enhance, improve, and the corporate image will upgraded, you can say, in a way. Now, what are the objectives of training and development? Right now we are talking about training and development as a process. Later in second part we will discuss about the training aspect first and then development aspect, and then differentiate. The training and development objective is to show your employees that you value them, to provide them with the training. You value them means you need to analyze the training need. Individual employee identification of the training need, what we call in your training need analysis, TNA. That is first step of training. So training need analysis is very important, because once you come to know about the training need and the areas where the training need is there. Say for example, when you are studying in an MBA program, so it is equally important to understand for a teacher to know that which student is weak in which particular area or in which domain, and try to identify that it is not that every student require common skill upgradation. Someone may require behavioral skill upgradation, someone may require technical skill upgradation, someone may require some other skills. So you need to identify, as a training manager, you need to identify that yes, we value individual employees, and we try to identify the individual employees training need analysis, and accordingly individual person is recommended for special training. Another objective of TND may be that training can be used as a preventive measure to prepare people for expected and unforeseen changes. That is very important. Look at it. Expected change. That means you know what change is going to happen, and what unforeseen events or changes or challenges may come in front of you. So you need to look at that preventive measures. Training helps you to be ready for those measures or changes, unforeseen changes. Because say for example, when you are given, say for example, the girls are advised to have a black belt training or something, taekwondo or like that. So once they are trained, that helps them to prevent unforeseen changes or expect unforeseen happenings, and they are better prepared for that, or rather you can say that they are better prepared to handle those situations. So that is why training is equally important. Another objective that is equally important is there is no better way to produce future leaders than to train the most talented individuals available. That means you cannot wait your future leaders to come from somewhere else. You have to develop them, you have to train them. So from bottom to top, it starts with the training and then goes to the development level, and you get future leader. And one of the objective, which is very important objectives, we talk about that investing time and money its employees education or training and development can only succeed in achieving their business goals. That means you need to understand that training and development is not a cost, is not a liability, is not an expenditure. Training and development, the time and money you use, that is a basically investment in your employee. Whatever time you give, whatever money you invest or use, that is an investment in manpower. So this must be very clear so that you can understand what it means and what at all you are doing. If you consider it as a liability, if you consider it as an expenditure, if you consider that your training budget is this much, so it's fine. But don't take it as a liability that you have to invest, you have to waste it, or you have to make expenditure. Rather, you say that you are developing manpower by investing X amount of money into training to result into more than X quantifiable and non-quantifiable outcome. Quantifiable may be in form of productivity, non-quantifiable may be in form of your upgradation, brand image, personality, and indirect benefits that you get after training. Now we look at that what exactly training is and how it differs from development. So training is basically a program of upgrading employees' skills, knowledge, and competencies. That means you must understand that when you are trying to identify training need, means you know what is present employee's skill and what is required skill. So there is a skill gap. What is present knowledge and what is required knowledge? What is competency right now and what competency you need? So there is a gap, and you need to bridge this gap by training. And in this, basically the management's responsibility to initiate training to fill this skill gap, because employee in some occasions or on most of the occasions, employee is not ready to accept that there is any skill gap. As an individual, I think that I am perfect in teaching, I don't need any additional skill. But my supervisor, my boss, my dean or my vice chancellor might be feeling that yes, there is a skill gap and that need to be upgraded. So management take initiative. Supervision or top management thinks that yes, there is a need for training, because they can visualize, they can see the skill gap very clearly, which an employee cannot. Whereas if you talk about the development program is often the preparation to perform the future job. We write that it is basically to prepare any people or employee to perform the future job as well as present job. We talk about present job also. So you need to learn that this development programs are basically the programs which aims to develop the behavioral aspect, the management aspect, to upgrade the management skills, not technical skills. So you talk about that there are technical skills and there are management skills. So when technical skills are there, you need to look at the technical part, that how to produce a particular product. But when you talk about management skills, how to deal with people, how to handle, how to achieve productivity, increase productivity. So there is a different aspect in development. You are, your skills, your personality, your uh, management skills are upgraded or developed in such a way so that you can be ready for future challenges. And usually the person who is on the spot, say for example manager feels that yes, he or she needs some additional developmental programs. It helps in future succession planning. Say for example, GM, then you have DGM and then AGM. AGM himself or herself thinks that yes, to be on DGM position or on GM position, you need to have this level of skill. And he or she himself take initiative. It is individual level initiative. What makes a difference in training and development? As we discussed that training is basically for bridging the skill gap. So training is meant for operatives, operation level. Indirectly you can say that blue collar jobs for employees, whereas development is meant for executives. That means white collar job for supervisor, managers, assistant managers, senior managers, deputy managers, general managers. So this is very clear cut differentiation, because in any company you will have some employees and some managers. So management and employee, two categories are there, and training is usually for employees and development, management development is for management professionals. Training is a reactive process. Why we talk about reactive process? Because when you are given assigned a particular job and you are not able to perform due to skill gap, due to knowledge, or maybe due to skills. So when your supervisors see that you are lagging behind in knowledge or skill, then as a reaction of that process, you are given training. So training is usually talked about as a reactive process because it is based on the past activity, reaction. Whereas development is a proactive process because it is future oriented process. It aims to develop person for future, and training aims to develop people because of past. So there is a very big difference in training and development. Training is usually an objective oriented process and it is short term process. That means, say for example, if you are given training on advanced Java language, so that process is short term process. The moment you learn that Java, your training stops. Then you may go for another training which may have different objective. But development is a continuous process. Behavioral development, management development is a continuous process. So it is not basically time based process. As we discussed that training is to develop skills, whereas the management development is to develop overall personality, overall performance of people on management positions. you know that training is for present need of job, whereas the development is for future need of job, which we have discussed in previous slides. If you look at that, we have also discussed that training is initiated by management itself, whereas the development is an individual initiative based. So what we talk about that, you can understand the basic concept of training and development, need, importance, and the distinguishing factor or differentiating factors. So the process of training, the types of training, and the developmental activities, that we will discuss in second part of the lecture.